Welcome to your yoga. Let's grab a few props just to make things a little more fun and accessible. So if you've got a strap, I'm using a scarf. Infinity scarves work great. Strap, scarf, just something that lengthens your hand to foot device. So it doesn't really matter what it is, just something that you can easily hold on to. So I'm going to set that off to the side, grab some blocks, and we'll set those up at the top, and a blanket. So starting off with your blanket, I'm going to take a little blanket roll, and this could be a pillow or anything that you might have nearby if it's not a actual yoga blanket. I'm going to roll it up a little bit just to add a little lift under the seat. And then it's kind of sliding toward the edge of that lift, so not directly on top of it necessarily. So you're kind of toward this side of it. So if you have the top, the back, and the front of it, so we're more to the front of that blanket or pillow situation. It could even be a yoga bolster if you happen to have one of those nearby. So finding whatever the space is that you can sit comfortably. We want to let those knees open up, let your sit bones become a little more elevated than the knees. And then lift the shoulders up, back, and down just a few times. Starting to connect with how you're feeling today. Finding any little clicks or pops or spaces that might be holding a little extra tension. And then just take those big circles a couple more times. Inhale, bring it forward. Exhale, roll it back. Just one more. Exhale, let the shoulders relax down. Close the eyes for a moment, finding a little more internal awareness. So again, check in with your breath. Notice if your breathing is still a little short or shallow from just arriving here. Let's take the breath in deeper through the nose, down toward the belly and low back. Slowly exhaling out through the nose. With a softness of the face, a softness in the jaw. Allowing the breath to grow each inhale and become a little longer with each exhale. Just let your arms kind of drop down by the sides, fingertips just landing on the floor somewhere beside you, and the head falling to one side. So as your head falls to the side, just try to align your ear over your shoulder and still lifting and sitting up nice and tall. Notice the tensional pull along the opposite side of the neck, maybe down toward the shoulders. And come back to center with an inhale. Let the head fall to the opposite side now. Just ear dropping over the shoulder. Imagine that the back of your head and your shoulders are pressing into the same space. The body stays nice and still, parallel, side waist, shoulders relaxed. Take one more big deep breath here. Make sure the shoulders are staying really soft, especially around the neck. And then back through center with your next breath in. Head falls to the opposite side, and we'll continue with your breath, lifting back to center as you inhale. Exhale, head falling to the side. And just once more to each side, not trying to shove the head over or really kind of pull it over either. You're just letting gravity drop the head from side to side, just intentionally not keeping it lifted upright. So then as you come back to center, take a moment here and draw the chin under toward the notch at the top of the chest. Notice if your ribs are kind of pulling forward or if you feel any tension in your middle back space especially. And just pull the ribs back in. Let your back become nice and long without an arch or a dip. The shoulders still drawing gently back. Take one more breath here. And then come back to center, lifting the head tall. Taking left arm, reach it up long. So with the bicep close to the ear, but without just shoving your arm right beside your head. So just reach up and then let that shoulder blade relax down the back. The right arm reaches over to the side very gently without a lot of intention to push forward or push out to the side. So relax that shoulder as well. And now just lean toward it. Let the bottom elbow stay soft and relaxed. The bottom shoulder is relaxed, not shrugging. Keeping your left hip super heavy, left sit bone heavy, left knee heavy. Take another breath and you'll find yourself slightly just lifting with that breath, and then exhale, let yourself just sink down a little lower if it feels comfortable for you. One more breath here. Inhale, really opening through that side waist, and exhale. Sweep back up to center, and as you do, just let your left fingers drop to the floor. Right arm sweeps up, palm is facing in. And lifting up and reaching both sideways, getting long, not just lifting up out of your shoulder. So this is what it would look like. If you were just lifting up out of your shoulder might even meet your ear. Okay, you want to lift up through the waist and just let the arm hang out here. Now, just slowly, gently starting to let yourself lean into that left side. Take a breath here. Notice the space between your ear and your shoulder on the bottom side there. Big breath in, exhale, allows you to maybe drop a little further, but just with gravity. Take another breath, your right knee, right hip, right sit bone, very heavy. And then come all the way back up. And just continue that movement now, reaching out a little further. Making sure the bottom arm stays soft and relaxed away from the ear, no shrugging. Inhale, coming up, relax your shoulders down, then reach, slide it out if you like. Inhale, coming up, exhale, reaching over. And we'll take that one more time. Maybe you've even noticed already getting a little more length through your spine with these lateral movements. And come back up. Let's take just a second here. Go ahead and just lean back, hands behind you, and shift the way your legs are crossed. So taking the opposite leg in front or on top. And we'll take the right hand, reach it across to the opposite side, sitting up nice and tall for your twist. Exhale, rotating around. I want you to stay here for 2 more rounds of breath. So think about staying lifted with the crown of your head right over your tail. Your spine just moving in a spiral. Back to center, keeping your hips mostly set, so without shifting a lot in your hips, and just rotate the waist. Sitting up tall, inhale, get it a little bit longer even. Imagine like there's a magnet at the top of your head and there's a magnet on your ceiling and it's pulling you up. And then come back around one more time to center, and we'll walk it forward just a little bit. So come to the place where you can comfortably reach forward. You can round a little here. It's fine. Your knees are open. If you can come into a deeper forward bend, you could reach it forward. Just take what you can here. Depending on what else you've done preceding this practice, you might be able to go a little further or not quite as far, depending on how much movement you've had already today. So as you come back up, and we will just go ahead and find a table position. So maybe with your blanket under the knees if you like that extra cushion. So whichever makes you feel better. Whatever that situation is, having your hands just right underneath your shoulders, knees about hip distance apart, tops of your feet planted to the floor. So moving through just a few gentle cat-cows here. Just let the belly fall, shoulders roll back. Exhale, start to lift up, round up and hollow out. Inhale, belly falls, shoulders gently drawing back, just relaxing away from your ears again. We always want to keep that space around the neck. Just a couple more here, just movement of the spine, the extension and flexion. And that last big cat stretch here. Deep breath in, exhale out. And back to center. So walking your hands forward, let them slide up toward the top of your mat into little puppy, letting your chest fall If you feel like you need contact with the floor with your elbows, go ahead and place them in a front or ahead of your shoulder line and just let your forearms rest on the floor. So whichever variation suits you today, elbows down or palms reaching, elbows lifted. Starting to just gently lift the head up and then walk your hands back. So we'll sit all the way back into child's pose. You could rest your hands under your hand or under your head, or just full child's pose, allowing your palms to just face up and your arms just resting beside you. Bringing the hands back by the knees, and we'll just roll it up into seated or thunderbolt position. So as you sit here for a moment, if you have that blanket, would like to use it under your knees and don't already have it, go ahead and take it. I'm going to take it kind of crosswise on my mat, so I've got some space to either side. And I'm going to take these blocks, okay, just place those on either side where they're reachable behind me as I face the long edge of the mat. So if you're mirroring me here, we're going to stand on the knees and take the right leg out. So for now, the toes will just point up. You could place the sole of the foot down if the flexibility of your ankle allows for that, that's fine. Or you can kick it up on the heel. Okay, pull up through the quadriceps so that you're not overextending in this knee and it's dropping down, creating this bow behind the leg. So you want a little softness right here. Your block can go kind of right in line. So if you have a blanket like I do, you might roll it up a little. Okay, so we're going to place that just kind of right where your arm would drop down. So you should maybe feel that right under your fingertips on the right side. Okay, so sweep the left arm up, get long, get tall again. So once again, it's not about lifting that ear or shoulder to ear. It's about getting long through your side waist. Okay, so inhale. With your exhale, just gently start to reach cross center. Now be mindful that this outside hip is not just shifting over. Okay, we're staying really lifted and long and then gently reaching. Your other hand could be resting just fingertips or palm to that block. Always keep in mind you can do a block stack, meaning if you have a second block, you could put that underneath this one. Bring that floor up to you. Let's take another breath. And then bring it back down. Now let's take that left hand over. You can grab that block as well if you have it. I'm going to set that on the lowest setting over to the side and just gently leaning into that side. So now we're in as a side plank on this side. So left hand down, right arm up. Deep breath in. Exhale, I want you to use your core muscles, especially your side waist here, and really try to engage before you lift. So set in through your transverse abdominal space. Get that girdle engaged. Inhale. Exhale, start to float yourself back up. And then we'll just reach up and gently over that midline again. Keeping your left hip, left knee stacked and reach. Maybe it's a little bit deeper this time. Inhale, come up. Exhale, start to shift over to the side. Your foot's going to come with you, so there's going to be a little lean when you get there. You could lift that leg up. You want a little extra, or just keep it down for the stretch. And then back up, inhale. Exhale, reaching over. By now, maybe you've got a little more space and length. You could start to drop your item down so that you're reaching a little further toward the floor. But again, not collapsing in that right knee. Let's come back up, over to the side, and just either pausing with your star plank or lifting that leg up, full variation. Very nice. Take one more breath. And then we'll come back up. Reach both arms up. Okay. So I want you to take your left hand, sweep it back, and just let it land right here. I'll show you. Right there on your low back. And continue to lift up with your right arm. So I'm not leaning back into this. I'm just lifting the chest. Okay. So moving into a little kind of almost a half camel there. Good, with a gate pose as well. One more breath. And then bring it back down. Now turning your right toes toward the front, walk your hands forwards, all turn to the side so you can see that better again. So here we go. We're walking forward, and it looks kind of like it did before. Little puppy, now with a little kickstand. Just reaching out, try to anchor your right foot all the way over to the pinky toe side. So once again, we won't be collapsing to the inside there or into that knee. Taking last full breath. And it's going to get a little trickier even still. We come back up. Take both of your blocks if they're nearby. You're going to walk yourself around now to your right. So if you're mirroring me, you're still going to your right. Bring that back leg around with you. Now you're facing your right foot and you're gently folding forward. So we're just moving forward. So watch that back hip. If it's starting to sink back by your heel, move your front foot forward a little more. You're just in that little half split. Drop your blocks as low as you feel comfortable going. You might even be on your forearms, not just your hands. Take 2 more rounds of breath. And then we'll start to work it back up. Turning back to the front. So just however you feel comfortable getting there. You might lift up a little and scoot yourself. And then we'll bring this right leg back in. And now left leg goes out. So toes turn up. We'll walk it up. Set your blocks down. I'm going to go ahead and put this one on the flat side here. Again, if you have some situation like I do, I'm going to fold that up a little. So give me some space on the middle inside space here. All right, so left toes are up. I'm going to line this left or right shoulder with right hip to knee. And then a slight drop of the tail. Reaching right arm overhead. Palm is facing in. With your exhale, gentle lean. Find your block or any item you have there to elevate on your left side. So I want to continue to pull back on the right side. If you find that a little challenging with the block behind you, just move it to the front of you and just use it for a little support here, pulling the right side back. Okay. Take another breath. And you're going to start to lift up and pause. And you're going to scoot this left foot in with you just a little bit as you start to tip. And then reach over and lift that left arm up to the sky. Deep breath. Inhale, use your core to come back up. Very slow and controlled using those side waist muscles. Now exhale, reaching over. Again, maybe getting a little further each time. Make sure your tail stays gently down, long space in your low back. Come back up, inhale. Exhale, as you come over, decide if you want to lift that leg with you. Adding a little more strength challenge for your glutes. Come back up, inhale. Toes can go up. It's okay to rotate your leg as you move here. Okay, so lift and reach. Try not to collapse into the bottom waist. Come back up, inhale. If you lift this top leg, go ahead and rotate the toes forward. So toward your screen maybe, or toward me. Bring it back down, toes go back up, knee goes up. And reach one last time. Inhale. And exhale, slowly lifting. Good. Take one more breath and we'll lift it back up. Ooh, there you go, nice and controlled. Now bringing those toes forward, walk yourself out so that you're in a little puppy with a kickstand. Taking one more full breath. Start to walk it back up. And now if you can grab extra blocks here and start rotating yourself around, To your left, just bring that back foot with you. Square the hips and just frame the front leg now with both of your hands. Inhale, lift tall. Exhale, gently coming forward, keeping your hips stacked over the knee. Adjust any elevation that you have here just to suit your needs. So always being mindful about those shoulders and ear connection. Take 2 more rounds of breath. As that last breath brings you back up, start to walk yourself back around to the center. Stand tall on that knee, get really lifted. You can rotate the toes back up if you like. We're going to sweep, right arm up. Rotate it all the way back. Let that hand just land, fingertips down right above that right glute. And then your left arm reaches up and just start to lift up through the chest. Gently, gently let the hips slightly come forward, but now drop your tail a little. You've got your weight on your right hand, just adding a little more, kind of a reminder to keep that tail down. Good. Last one. And then release it. So you'll turn yourself as you bring that leg in. We're going to turn toward the front of the mat for just a moment. You can set your blocks off to the side. Go ahead and send yourself up and back into down dog. If you want to move your blanket on your way, go ahead, do so. And just kind of pedal out through your heels. We'll start to walk the feet forward. Find some place where the hands and the feet can kind of meet. And just hang for a forward bend for a moment. Starting to walk the hands up all the way to standing. All right, very nice. So starting at the top of your mat, grab your blocks again. Okay. Oops, let me make adjustments here without falling. All right, so at the top of our mat, sweep the arms up, big reach, and exhale, gently folding forward, hinging from the hips. Inhale, rising halfway up. Go ahead and take your blocks, or if you have any other item here, ottoman would work. Placing hands on them and stepping your left foot back. So not a giant step, it's just a really big step, okay? But not too far back. So we want to be able to move into that pyramid. We did that half variation just a moment ago. It looked very similar to this. So here we're going to just lower the head, the shoulders down over that front leg. I want you to continue to keep your ribs and hips kind of connected here in the front body. Okay. Let's take another breath. You're going to softly bend that that right knee and start to walk your hands forward a bit in front of your toe line. Make sure you feel really steady and stable. Not all of your weight will be on your blocks. Your blocks are just there to help keep you elevated, but not all your weight should go on them. So I want you to try to pull up, take some of your weight out of your hands. More of your weight is in your foot. And now lift that back leg. Rotate the toes out. And now see if you can sweep that leg around. Hold it there. Bring it back. And then just drop those toes down. Shift back. Inhale, you're in pyramid. Pull up through the ribs. Put a little soft bend in the standing front leg. Okay, so that right foot. Come forward just a little. Lift the back leg. Hold it. And then rotate the toes out again. Sweep it around. Bring it back. And then rotate the toes down. Come back one more time. Inhale. A little shift forward. Exhale, lift the leg. Rotate, inhale. Exhale, sweep. Bring it back. Rotate toes down. And then shift back again and pause. Very good. All right. We're going to step up into forward standing bend. Hang out here for a second. Let your head fall. Bend the knees. Hands go up to the thighs. Roll yourself up. Take big sweep up, standing upright. And then exhale, gently forward bend all the way down again. We'll do that on the other side, coming halfway up. We're gonna step the right foot back. So you're in your pyramid stance. Okay, inhale. Exhale, put a little shift to the front leg. Lift the back leg. Rotate the toes out. That's gonna open your hip. Sweep the right foot over. Bring it back. Rotate, close the hips, shift back, pyramid. So inhale, little bend starts the move. Shifting forward off the back toes, lift, rotate, sweep it out. Inhale, exhale, and drop it down. One more time, very good. Inhale, gently come forward, lift, rotate, take a breath. Sweep the leg over, bring it back, toes down, and shift back. Very nice. All right, step that back foot forward, come into standing forward bend. Hold it here for a second. We'll bring the hands up the thighs. Start to roll yourself back up to standing, taking your strap now. So whatever item you may have here. Once again, it could be a scarf, an extra t-shirt, a jacket, whatever you have that you can loop around your foot will be just fine. All right, so standing near a wall, if you need a little assistance with your balance today, that's okay. Just get yourself comfortable. Standing off of squishy or carpeted surfaces can be helpful when you're balancing or working on your balance as well. Okay. So we're going to take that strap or item there around your left foot. So if you want to mirror me, you'll take that around your left foot. Finding your balance point first. So if you're using a wall, you may take that to the outside shoulder, the one that you're not holding. Okay, that may be an option. Another way to use a wall is to just gently lean against it and then be able to shift yourself off of it. So maybe about, half a foot or so away from the wall. That way you can bounce off of it and still get your core to engage, all right? So we're not just relying on the wall. So I want you to separate the toes on your right foot first. Okay, starting here with our little balancing hand to foot. So let's bring that left knee up when you're ready. Now walk your hand down the strap so that your elbow is in close to your body. We don't have a lot of torque here from our shoulder. Continue to draw up and in with the rib cage pulling gently down. Shifting the foot only as far as you feel comfortable. If your hamstrings are tight, this may not shift out a lot. Okay, so don't worry about how far your foot shifts forward. Take the leg out to the side, take your right arm out or hold on to something here. Okay. Our intention is to stay lifted and tall once again, not leaning into it. Good. Take another breath or two wherever you are. Notice the elbow is kind of gently drawn in toward my waist so I can stay here easily without torquing my shoulder or pulling on that shoulder. Let's take another breath. Bring it back to center and then release it down. All right, very good. Let's reset. Take that to the opposite side. Okay, Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. One of my favorites to say just because it sounds really cool. So it just means hand to foot really, okay, or extended hand to foot. And this is our hand. So our strap is our hand today. That's why we're using it. We don't have to actually physically touch our foot. All right, so let's bring that up again. And you're gonna hold both ends of your strap if you have ends to it. Right there on the inside of the foot. So that helps. So if you're over here, that's gonna be kind of awkward. So I want you to just bring it in and hold it kind of naturally with the knee in front of your hip and let your elbow just drop down comfortably. Left arm can be out to the side or holding on to something. And I want to show you something else. So making sure that you're not leaning back. Okay? So not leaning back, you're standing upright. Pull your hips back underneath you. Take a deep breath. Find your focal point. That's probably not me, I'm moving. Shift your foot forward as much as you feel comfortable or just keep the knee bent. Starting to move that leg out to the side when you're ready. Good. Now you can take it out as straight as you would like, moving toward a different variation. Don't feel like you need to straighten that leg out because I just gave you the option. It will make your balance a little wobbly, okay? And it depends on how your hamstrings and inner thighs are feeling. So take another breath. Ooh, see, and it's okay if we wobble. We just do the big air guitar. And then we come back and then release it. All right, awesome work. Take the leg, both feet to the floor. Take legs nice and wide. Toes are gonna be straight ahead. Drop that strap down for a moment and gently just bring yourself forward into a forward bend. Hands can be on blocks or elevated always. Let's take one more breath. Bring yourself back up. Go ahead and heel toe those feet in. Dropping down into Malasana or big wide yogi squat. So garland pose, dropping your hips. If you feel more comfortable to place blocks underneath your sit bones, you could do this as well. Okay, just find a place that you can either stay supported or that you can sit down comfortably and let your sit bones hang. Okay, heels preferably on the floor. Let's take another breath. Release it out. Good. Take your head side to side a couple of times. Let's go ahead and come all the way onto the mat. So finding your way all the way down. I'm going to lean into the left side. Okay. So leaning over onto that left elbow for just a moment. The legs are coming forward. So I'm going to get a little more openness. And we did a lot of hip flexion. So I'm going to get a little more openness through the front body. Taking your right hand to right ankle. And then just pull that heel towards your glute and drop your knee down to the end of the mat. Okay. And then imagine that you were tucking your tail just a little bit here. Okay. Relax the shoulder. If you once again need to hold on with your strap, you could grab your strap here. It's just a nice way to get a good stretch, just like you would for maybe a low lunge onto that hip flexor. Take one more breath. And then release that side. Go ahead and push yourself up. We'll move it to the opposite side, just swinging your legs around. Okay. So you could be resting all the way to the floor if it feels better for your arm, your shoulder, whatever it may be. Or you can rest here on your forearm. Go ahead and take hold of that ankle. Bring the knee down. Scoop through the tail just a little bit. Relax your shoulders. Space around your neck. Deep breath. Very nice. Take one more big deep breath in. And then we'll release. Awesome work. Go ahead and roll the rest of the way onto your back. Arms down by the sides. Just take a little bridge lift here. So if your feet are parallel, I want you to imagine that you're trying to draw your knees over your toes, but your knees are really lined up with your heels, so that's not going to happen. It's just the idea. And your inner thighs kind of slightly squeeze towards center. Let's take another breath. Slowly lower yourself down to the mat. Take the feet further away from the sit bones, walk them down a little bit, and then a little gentle knee sway, side to side. Once you move back to center, let your feet come together, your knees drop apart. So a little Baddha Konasana, reclining Baddha Konasana. So a little butterfly type position with your legs. If you'd like to add any extra to that, you can place hands toward inner thighs if they reach to add just a little extra weight there, or you can just let your arms relax to your sides. Take another breath. And if you'd like, you could bring your knees back together, draw them into the chest just for a nice little hug here. Across your shins or under the knees, holding on. And then finally, let's take a nice big full body stretch. Reach the arms out, reach the legs down the mat. Let the arms come out and the feet about the width of your mat to rest here for just a few rounds of breath. So just kind of doing your mental scan once more. Notice where you are in your body. Let the shoulders relax, your chest open. Arms and legs become very heavy. You feel the weight of your glutes resting on the floor, the back of the thighs, the calves, the heels. The space across the middle of your back is resting and pressing toward the floor. Muscles in the face become soft. The eyes heavy, the tongue relaxed, floating in the mouth. As you begin to find some awareness with your fingers, your toes moving gently, and circling your wrists and your ankles. Starting to take your arms over the head for a big stretch up, and then bending your knees one at a time, taking your feet to the mat. As you're ready, just rolling off to one side, using your arm as a pillow or prop here for your head. Take another breath in, right through the center of your core, straightening your top leg and gently coming up. So just let that serve you as an option of letting anything that may not serve you today to fall away. And we'll come back up into seated and into the present. Eyes can be heavy, or go ahead and close the eyes completely, your choice. Taking another breath in, sweep the arms over the head, let the palms meet at center and the hands come down right to the heart. So bowing to your own inner teacher, take a moment just to acknowledge the blessings of today, or your gratitudes, the things that you can appreciate as you begin to move through the rest of your day. So thank you so much for being here. Namaste.